I called Maurice and I was like, what the hell? Is our company even necessary? Why can't anyone go on ChatGPT and just type in what they want and get their services?
When you send out the invoice, it does not mean you have the revenue. You need to collect it until the cash is your bank. That's where you actually have the revenue.
You guys are buying assets with your pocket money.
Simplicity. It sounds easy and sometimes it sounds lazy, but it's actually the hardest thing to do. Every engineer is an engineer manager. You manage like 5 agents. It's just so excited to be human right now.
Hey, how you doing?
All good, all good.
Great to have you on the pod. I think we met a couple of weeks ago and I was fascinated by the company that you're building because it's quite something that I've never heard or seen before. You guys sit in the middle of financial institution and tech company. Why don't you tell us what your company is, what it's called, and what you guys are doing?
Yeah, happy to share. So the company is called Daylit. What we do is AI agents for accounts receivable. I think what makes us unique is we both have a AI agent workflow to automate the whole AR process for you, so really get paid with one thing. We also have a capital component, so in the event you do not want to run the collection yourself, you can also sell the receivable to us so that you can get the cash flow you need.
Got it. So for the viewers, account receivable is some bill that you put out that a person hasn't paid you yet,
Yep.
right? Okay.
So yeah, it's a very universal problem, right? It's like all the businesses always run into this is when you send out the invoice, it does not mean you have the revenue. You need to collect it until cash is your bank. That's where you actually have the revenue. So we basically help you kind of automate the mundane throughout the whole process.
Got it. I imagine for, if you're a consumer business, you're selling shoes, whatever, the most a checkout could be is, a couple of $1,000s. When you're dealing with businesses, account receivables that's late or, not paid is millions, tens of millions of dollars. I also heard on a podcast the other day where, if you're an AI company and your accounts receivable for one of your customers is $50 million, even that being, 1 or 2 days late could lose you a lot of interest rate like that you could receive from your holding bank. So you guys theoretically solve all of that. All of your customers get paid on time. And if their customers don't pay, you guys pay them and own the credit on your balance sheet.
Yep. So that's one of the daily capital product we'll solve. So yeah, end of the day it's very simple, right? Value proposition. It's get paid within 1 day.
Got it. You guys started this company in 2020, you said?
Yep.
Recently, I think 2024, you guys raised 110 million. That's correct. You said this was a mix of venture capital and venture debt. Even in your pre-seed round, by the way, the 110 million, that was your seed round. In your pre-seed round, you did a mixture of venture debt and venture capital as well. Explain to me what the hell venture debt is and how does it work? How's it different from venture capital?
So if you look at our business itself, it's very simple, but also the solution is very simple, but the backend is actually very complex. It both has this technology component, which is a software solution, as well as a financing component. So if you just for that purpose, like obviously the equity raise is for build better tech. And then how do we have the capital, have the balance sheet to really purchase receivable from these businesses? That's where these venture debt or private debt come into play.
Got it.
Very happy to kind of partner with, I think, one of the largest debt provider via capital in the fintech space. And then that's kind of give us this balance sheet, kind of this purchasing power to really help different business out.
And what was the name of the firm?
It's called Viola Capital.
Viola Capital. Yeah. I imagine when you're raising venture debt, they want to see a lot of proof of revenue so they can predict your returns. When you're raising pre-seed, what did you show for it?
Yeah, I think when we did our first round, it's funny, at the very beginning, it's my co-founder and I, we used our own pocket money.
Oh, damn. And you guys were buying assets with your pocket money.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was fun.
Okay.
And once that's kind of a proof of concept, then we raised our kind of first round, I think a total around 10 mil.
Okay.
And then we issued around total probably around 100 million. And that's where we have enough track record. We presented to like the private debt space. And I think it's definitely interesting to many people. And then we chose kind of the best partner.
Got it. Is this something venture capital won't touch, like the credit side?
It's actually a very interesting topic. It's like quite like all the money are equal, right? They are
$1 is $1, right?
$1, but the mind behind it is actually very different. I think for venture capital, it's great for sponsoring call it high growth software businesses because the appetite of the capital. But then for venture debt, again, $1 is $1, but their risk profile is very different. They have different intent. And then kind of at the crossroad of the universe, we kind of bridge the gap where now kind of capital, like Daylit capital, become our moat to support our software. And then the software help people kind of in their day-to-day. And then end of the day, that becomes a nice solution. If they need capital, solve their working capital problem, we're like one-stop shop for them.
Got it. That makes sense. You guys are, a large team now, about 20 people that work for you. Can you walk me through the progression of your company? Like when it was pre-seed, it was just you and your co-founder. Who were your first couple of hires? And then what did you see, to have you guys result in hiring folks?
That's actually a great question. So if you ask any kind of startup founders or managers in general, hiring is the most important thing. And I think we are super lucky to have a community of super talented employees. When we first started our hiring, this is back probably 2-3 years ago. So our business started in Boston, which is very lucky in a way that there's a great pool of like smart talent.
There's MIT, there's Harvard.
Yeah. So we kind of, with all the school connection, we actually built a very, I think at this point, very unique program. We have folks come in for winter internship, then they all, then they'll do a summer internship and they'll become a full-time. So I think we look for, very unique traits of people. I think we're seeking for like people with curiosity as well as excellence. I think those are the two North Star we're looking in folks. And that, I think, with that unique angle, I think we assembled a unique team.
Were you guys on campus recruiting people? Were you guys at career fairs? Like, how were you getting top of funnel for hires?
That's a very good question. It's mostly through connections.
Okay.
So school connection, we graduate from those programs, and it's usually kind of alum intro, and that works out great.
Got it. I imagine the winter internship is quite unique. I feel like, MIT kids are working summer jobs all the time. Were you guys competing with other companies when hiring winter interns, or was it super easy? Like no one's doing winter. It's like a spot no one looks.
So it's definitely very competitive. I think all the big companies, from
even in the winter,
medias to all the big ones to all the small ones. But I think the uniqueness of, which is a kind of a both sides kind of a selected the process, right? Like we are very lucky to have these students who select us, who are, I think, seeing the potential of the business, seeing the interesting technology we put together, and seeing kind of the value of the problem, and then kind of decided to join in a very, I think, cool way. I think we have a lot of folks with kind of very strong athletic background, because that's where a lot of this seeking excellence is from. But also, I think every single one holds this unique mind of being super curious of problems, always dig like one step ahead and figure out what's going on. So I think that become like it's kind of a special team culture.
Would you advise startups like us to go to Stanford and try to recruit for winter internship? Do you think it's a new thing that no one else is doing?
I think definitely. I think also probably the school to an extent wants to support it. For example, at MIT, the school literally is structuring a way that the spring semester starts very late. So there's literally the budget a month for students to play around different projects, which as far as I'm concerned, is a very unique program. I wonder if Stanford has the similar.
Okay, we'll have to check. When you're at MIT, did you do winter internships as well?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. Okay, who was your first hire?
Our first hire is Evelyn.
What does she do?
She's our VP of UX UI.
So a designer was the very first person you guys hired?
Yes.
Can you walk me through the need of design? Like, why did you guys need a design?
Yeah, totally. So very beginning, both my co-founder and I have technical background, and I think to an extent are both capable of on the business side too. And we develop this business, but what we always think like the number one focus is, what does customer want? And how can the customer journey be pleasant? That's where I think we always put a strong emphasis, user experience. And Evelyn, I think she graduated from the cover design program, and then she has a very unique eye, like simplicity, and also deliver like the delight in the shortest path. I think that if you look at any of our product design, that's probably the philosophy we hold kind of throughout.
Got it. Okay, so you hire her. How long was it just the three of you guys? And I kind of want a timeline on when you guys went from single digit, 4 or 5 people to
Yep.
20.
I just kind of the timeline wise, I think the 20, probably quite like 21, 22, they were all single digits. 23, we start expand, probably quite like around 10-ish. But it's really after the most recent raise, we double the team.
Got it. Is your team mostly engineers? Was that?
I'll say 2/3 engineers and 1/3 on go-to-market.
Got it. When we met last time, we kind of broke down the structure of your company. Can you walk us through what the different divisions are, who leads what, and what the deliverables of each division is?
So we have 3 parts. My co-founder, Jared, he leads the go-to-market, like anything external. I'm run the tech side, the tech and product. And our COO, Freya, she runs everything operational plus like customer support and success. So that's quite like 3 big components. And then kind of under Jared, it's all the go-to-market talents. We have both the motion of direct as well as inbound, basically inbound and outbound.
So it's like marketing and sales?
Yep.
Okay.
So we have a BDR plus AE motion. We also have kind of ACO, have a PR motion.
Got it.
Which I think are pretty successful.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how kind of the team set up.
Awesome. When we spoke earlier today, you mentioned that you guys don't, ship every day. You have a feature list you first talk about and design. Once the design is ready, the engineers build for a certain period, and then you have code freeze. Walk me through why this is necessary for you guys. And this was something that you guys recently started doing after you scaled. When you guys were just, 4 or 5 people, you could ship every day and everything would be fine. What changed? Why are we slowing down the ship times?
Totally. I wouldn't say it's like slowing down. I think it's really probably like high level, how does go-to-market team collaborate with product team, right? Like you need certain checking points where both team kind of work towards. So when it comes to like GA release, we need to be very explicit on the set of features we're going to release. And so that, the marketing team and sales team can prepare like months before.
Interesting.
So that's like our approach, kind of cross-team collaboration. And the inside team, I think as every startup probably is learning, is what is the best practice to organize now the product and tech team, right? The old school way of very clear cut from head of product, PM, tech lead, UX, QA, like that dynamic, we feel it has been probably obsolete. So what is the kind of modern way to run that? I think we put a lot of thoughts and ideas into it. And the team, I think that the team, that's another thing, is the team is very excited of trying different setups and trying to find the most optimal way to run the process.
Can you describe your current setup?
Yeah, so the way we're running it is we split the year into basic quarters, and every quarters we have very ambitious goals. We probably start to plan the next quarter, I would say 3 months before that starts. So there's a lot of research happening.
And are the goals revenue targets? Are they products that need to be released?
Yeah, so this is mostly kind of the core problem, which is what problem are we solving? What do customers need? And how can we solve it better? That's really the research is about.
Okay.
So I know 3 months before we enter the next quarter, we started the research, and then by the time probably halfway through, we firmed up a set of features that we're going to work on for the next quarter.
And is there one person whose full-time job is doing this research, or?
So I would usually lead the process.
Okay.
But it's a very collaborative process, both with go-to-market team as well as like internally, because as you know, the best idea are almost always come from boots on the ground.
Yeah.
So everyone knows what's the actual pain.
Okay.
So that's the process we're running.
And are you guys compiling all these issues in some Google Doc, or are you guys using AI to like pull all the Slack information and like figure out what to build?
So definitely do both, right? Okay. There's tons of call scripts, but they are information. They are not distilled insights. And you really need, I think, combination of a human driver as well as the AI tools to distill from information to insights.
Okay.
And then make a call on what's the priority, right? Ruthless priority, and what to build. So that's actually, I think, most important human input when you think about process about like what to build next.
Okay. So you guys do the research 3 months in advance. You guys have a priority list of what you build. I imagine you guys put it all in linear afterwards. And then what happens?
Yep. So then we start, that's another very interesting process we experimented and found very useful. Like most of the engineering practice, I think you either do a Kanban model or you do a kind of sprint.
Yeah.
2-week sprint. What we found is with the power of AI, either model works, but neither works that well. For Kanban, it's sure everyone continuously keep working on next item, but there's no stopping point. No one actually have a kind of finished point or a goal. It's very hard to have a set goal. Versus for the regular sprints, you have a very clear goal, but the amount of effort to put in planning and the actual outcome of the plans are, as soon as you put the plan out, it's no longer the best plan.
Yeah.
So you need to keep iterating on that. So we actually created a process of we both do a 2-week sprint goal, but we actually do not do the planning, the actual items inside that sprint. So there's a long code backlog to do, and then everyone just pick up the top of the queue. But by the end of the 2 week, we'll try to hit the sprint goal. That's how we are.
And is the goal a number of tasks or is the goal a product shipped? Like, what is the goal for that sprint?
Yeah, the goal is always a use.
Oh, okay.
One or multiple user stories.
Very interesting. I feel like this kind of takes us back to the sticky notes time where, you know, we had whiteboards with a bunch of sticky notes and everyone just had to like go move it. Nowadays, I think we a little overcomplicate how work is done, and you guys are trying to bring it back. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, how does it feel so far?
This is so fun.
This has been one of my favorite podcasts. And I say this because we started this podcast for me personally to learn how to build stuff for our company. And mostly I'm interviewing my peers, like people who raised a pre-seed, you know, 2 to 10 million mostly. Yeah. And then talking to you guys are, you know, the immediate next step. And I feel like I learn a lot from one step ahead instead of my current peers. Damn, we almost killed that guy.
These cars are friendly.
They're friendly. They're safe.
Yeah. I also really enjoy the ride because the stars
come out.
It's just so pretty.
And it's not even very dark yet. I think on our way back it'll get pitch black outside, so you'll get to really.
Do you usually pick the kind of the 7-8 p.m. as the?
So until yesterday, 7 p.m. was pitch black, but daylight saving happened, and now we're earlier. So I'll probably have to move our episodes. How are you guys finding customers?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think everyone is trying to crack the code.
Yeah.
For us, really is kind of meet customer where they are. I think the way we see it is in an ideal world, like dating, it's kind of a mutual affection and mutual fit, right? Obviously, right now is you have to kind of be a very brute force approach to pitch, but we trying to see what's the best practice to make it as natural as possible. For now, I think what works really well for us is kind of thought leadership, share the best practice of what's the best practice to run your AR department, what are the common flaws, how does AI fit into the scope, all of those. As we're sharing those practice, I think we engage with these AR managers because I think everyone wants to learn.
And are you guys doing this on LinkedIn, Twitter, writing blog posts?
LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay. And who's the person posting? You?
So my co-founder.
Your co-founder is trying to be the thought leader.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So pumping out content. Are you guys doing any other kind of marketing, like traditional PR or even ads or?
Yeah.
No?
So we do it all.
Okay.
I think on the PR side, it's really kind of get the name out there. I think to an extent on the phase 1 of the business, both of my co-founder and I, our style were like heads down building.
Yeah.
We put very little thought, kind of let the world know what we're doing. I think, you know, this is part of kind of thanks to our VC investors. They were like, hey, you guys, what's your budget to make you guys like be public or vocal about what you do? I think that's one. And then 2 also is on the SEO and AEO side. I think it's common knowledge, everyone knows SEO is a great way to get customer, but the challenge is how do you find the right set of keywords or triggers or the signals so that the conversion worth your investment. I think that's where I think my co-founder spent tons of time and energy and effort into distill the plan. Like not only about creating the content is easy.
Yeah.
Right. We have the knowledge. I think that again, the team is smart. We have a lot of best practice to share, but how can we really surface these content to our potential customer? That's where kind of all the go-to-market effort.
Yeah, I think I need to talk to your co-founder about the specifics of exactly what goes on in there because I'm very curious about that. I want to dive deeper a little bit more about what you guys were doing pre-fundraise versus post 100 million
Yep.
when it comes to go-to-market. Like what changed, and do you wish you had started doing some of the things earlier, even before you fundraised? Or
I think after the fundraise, the big thing is now you have a resource. And with a resource, the most important thing is find out what's working and scale it. So I think with that being said, that sounds easy. What's working, like that line itself, is a living organism, right? So that things keeps changing. That's where kind of the founder-led sales, I think, kind of never stop. Where as founder, you need to keep pitching, you need to keep distill of what works into SOP and update. We've seen startups, including some of the tool we use, like they have great SOP from the sales team, but the experience just sucks.
what is SOP? Sorry.
So standard operating procedure.
Got it.
Right. So as you can imagine, for certain companies, as they become bigger, they just want to standardize everything, and then it's literally a script for people to read.
It's a playbook.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Which in today's world, it doesn't work.
Okay.
You need to evolve with the society, with the technology. That's where, kind of back to the question you're asking, like how do you wish you spend more time during kind of pre-fundraise phase or not? I think it's a both yes and no. I would say in general, probably no, because with resources, you can definitely do more good things. But I think the notes there is really you as the founder kind of should always have skin in the game, be the user of a product, as well as be the one that talk to the customer and get the first-hand information of what works, what not.
Got it. Which one of your go-to-market levers is the most productive?
I think I would say it's actually half-half, both inbound and outbound. And to an extent, inbound and outbound are merged together, especially because we're surfacing kind of most B2B clients, and our kind of ticket size kind of supports motion that combines the both effort. Because when there is a signal of customer raising hand of, hey, I want this, that does not necessarily mean that they have the energy or the interest to learn more about your stuff. So that's where kind of inbound motion creates these signals of, hey, that's interesting, I might be interested. But the last mile of, hey, now let's sit down, find a comfortable time, really introduce our product solution to you, customize, like understand your pain point, and really showcase how the solution may or may not be useful for you. I think that second piece also help with the conversion rate. I think we have a above market conversion rate, and that's because the motion is a combination of both inbound and outbound.
That makes sense. Whenever I hop on calls with other businesses that want to sell products into Doc Tours, I noticed that what the salesperson is doing is trying to knock out their competition. So it's less about the product and it's more about here's what the competition can't do and here's why you should choose us, that kind of argument. Is this what you guys follow? And also, in general, do you care a lot about what the competition does?
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. I think, again, the time changes, right? Like the society changes. Now, almost when customer hop on a call, not necessarily our product, but in general, the customer already asked GPT, asked Gemini.
Yeah.
So they know what they're getting. So with that being said, I think we really focused on one in the space. It's still super early. It's pretty a big ocean, and we have a very unique angle for the collection process and like these resolutions. So it's less about kind of talk down of our competitors, but rather really understand like how can we make your life easier? Like how can we make the customer's life easier? How can we make their organization kind of perform better? And at the end of the day, it's about selling results. Right? Like if you can help the customer realize how much better the results they can get via using your solution, that's a win-win. Sure, they can pick a combination of Google and Microsoft and all of that. They can also pick your opinionated product. But at the end of the day, with the price I'm paying, these are the results I can get. Customers are smart, right? So they make very simple calculation. They find the easiest way to implement this. They choose us, and the deal gets closed.
That makes sense. Okay. Where I want to go next is this like whole AI craze that's going on. There's a lot of debate that SaaS is dead, that companies are going to buy units of work instead of seats.
Yeah.
How do you guys think about this? Are you guys delivering I know you guys are delivering the full work of an AI or collections person at a company. Is that where you guys plan on pushing forward, or is it a tool that an AR person at one of your customers uses?
Totally. I think we definitely do not believe in SaaS is dead.
Okay.
Again, this is our standing as of
Right now.
2026
Okay.
March, right? So it might change tomorrow. But our understanding is obviously those foundation models are improving like crazy. The tech run is improving like crazy, but we also start to see the limitation of these models. So from our experience, that the best solution is a combination of human and machine. So with that being said, we think there's definitely going to be a human driver in especially these key workflows. And we believe in kind of a opinionated workflow solution that really perfect or like 100x of efficiency for the driver. And that's kind of how we understand the future or how we believe in the future. And that's why we're creating this opinionated workflow for best AR practice. And we introduce to everyone so that hopefully, you do not need to hire a PhD to crack this problem, and we're going to do it on your behalf and figure it out.
Got it. So is the human driver an employee of Daylit, or is it an employee of your customer?
The employee of the customer. They
Okay.
will still have their AR team, but now they're just supercharged.
Got it. Okay. Do you think the $100 million round that you guys raised, 110 million, could have happened last year or the year before that? Or is there something unique about this time that made it possible?
I think it's probably I think everything happened for a reason. That's probably my general take of how the world operates. I think it's a very unique time of both how much like potential of AI the future, right, can be reimagined, as well as this, when you have a finance component, it always goes back 10 steps back about like the fundamental of the economy, where we're in a very unique space of the REIT situation, the macroeconomics, where the private debt were very hungry for a solution like this. So it's a very unique timing too. I think we are, will benefit from that.
That makes a lot of sense. One thing that I hear a lot from investors mostly, and I don't know if investors are the right people to say this, but is that startups that raise a lot of money early on, especially pre-seed, seed stage, throw money at their problems instead of being disciplined and trying to find novel ways. And we've seen time and again that less capitally coming out raised a lot less, succeeding much faster, much quicker than a startup that's very well capitalized. What are your thoughts on this?
That's a great angle of like what I think end of the day, what's essential for a startup to be successful. I think it's the founders and the team both needs to be really heads down of craft a solution that is the state of art for your customer. And also the founders probably also need to be very vocal and be public about your solution so that people will come and appreciate your creation. Which when you have a lot of capital, it's easier for you to come in blind because of the amount of capital you have. So when you thread both, you probably see early success or early metrics from both ends, but that makes you kind of put off the alert of, hey, both sides is so much work and hard thoughts instead of just the easy solution of throwing more capital. So I think be capital efficient is definitely very, very, very important. As in, it's a training program, right? You train your early days to be disciplined, to really focus on both efficiency internally to craft the baby, the product, and also how can you efficiently present on the solution to others.
Do you see yourself slipping a little, like maybe spending a little more where you shouldn't, or throwing money at your problems? If so, what parts of the company are more susceptible to this?
Yeah, that's actually also a great question. I think it's funny enough, we actually got a lot of advice. When you need to spend money, you should go and spend money. Like this happens variety from different external solutions to internally, like how do you structure the team? At this point, what's most important is speed. Now, with that in mind, we know you're going to lose efficiency in certain area, right? Like it's very simple. You want to buy the house, you want to buy it now, you pay 10% premium. You want to buy it, you have 5-year window, then you can just wait and see and buy it at the right dip. So at the time, speed is the key, right? Now you prove you can operate with efficiency. Now you prove you have a clear product set as well as a repeatable sales motion. Now it's time to go speed. And with that, we can lose efficiency for now. And then later on, someday a private equity firm will come in and inject that efficiency back to you. But now it's actually not the most important thing. The most important thing is speed, get things out capture the market. That's our take.
And do you see different advice or different attitudes from your debt backers versus the capital backers on how to spend and how to move?
Actually, not really, because I think for both our equity partners and the debt partners, I think they are both very familiar with startups.
Got it.
So I think they both have a growth mind in their head. It's really about how do we not only deploy today 100 million, but someday we're gonna deploy 1 billion. Like, what's the shortest path to do that? Obviously, while managing the risk responsibly. That's, I think, everyone's mindset.
Got it. What are some mistakes that you guys made earlier on that you realized, once you matured?
Oh, too many.
Are there like one or two key things that kind of sticks in your mind? Maybe
Yeah,
some advice that
totally.
you could give us?
I think, again, just in my head, there's probably 100 topics I can share. I think starting, and for me, probably running on the product side, to start is really understand what your customer want and then keep the solution simple. Probably like one takeaway is simplicity. It sounds easy and sometimes it sounds lazy, but it's actually the hardest thing to do. Like, everyone, I think, when in us, in Boston, in the States, or in the world at this point, with especially powered by AI, everyone is smart. And with that, you always have this tendency of do more, which obviously is a good trait. But in the startup world, because you have limited resources, when you have kind of external pressure of growing the business, the easiest thing is to do more. But a lot of time, do more is not a solution. Actually, a lot of time, do less, but do the less very well is the right solution. So I think that's one big lesson we learned beforehand. Hey, we can build this. Let's build it. Oh, why don't we do this too? Let's build it. Well, this one, we can easily do it in-house. It's like 2 weeks. Let's do it. And then you have this massive amount of assets you put in, but like, you don't get a chance to polish one thing and polish it very well. I think that's probably one of the biggest takeaway in running the products.
I think one thing that we did for a lot of our internal tooling is that, whenever there was a problem or an inefficiency, instead of, buying a CRM, we built one in-house.
Yeah.
Instead
Like,
of,
why not?
yeah, especially with AI nowadays, instead of using some kind of like messaging system, we built one in-house.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these things that we do in-house. Sometimes this helps us, sometimes it doesn't. And now, starting this week, we're going to cut down on a lot of the kind of tooling that we built in-house, or at least we're going to consolidate a lot of the tools.
This is probably also one lesson after you are building, try all these like in-house building and build so many different solutions, is people always put most of the mental energy on the building piece, but the maintenance and then the future, not only maintenance, but as well as like future adding new features, that's actually a lot of work. And that work become distraction. So yeah, I think for all the builders, I think, don't just think about how easy to build something, but bake in, kind of budget your time. Everything you build, you probably need the same amount of effort for the rest 3 years, probably is more spread out. But that's a maintenance state you always need to budget in your head too.
That makes sense. Do you guys use AI in a lot of the code? Hold on, let me rephrase this question. How do you guys use AI when building, like on the coding side?
So I think the coding, obviously, at this point, everyone has, from Claude Code to Cursor to, I think, Google's most recent one, Anti-Gravity, Codex, right? We use it all. Which
are you guys like using it? For us, for example, we rarely look at the code anymore. We make plans, Cloud Code or Cursor goes out and executes, and we look at the GitHub that's created and give feedback there. Is that what you guys are doing, or is it still like more, you have the IDE open and you're coding with an assistant?
No, I would say definitely mostly is like you make the plan and then have the agent code. I would say the bigger part, now we're human, kind of really we spend a lot of time on, is evaluating different proposals. Like, hey, it's easy to build a status override, but this thing might be such a deep-rooted problem for the system. It's easy to build, just add another field in the data model, right? It's done. But also, if you really build like if you think about 3 steps ahead of what you are going to build, that is not the right solution, right? So then that's where I think a lot of human energy spent on, hey, don't be not necessarily lazy, right? Don't build it this way, but build this way, because we know 3 steps ahead, this is what we're going to build. And if you build the, path A, it will limit our ability in the future. So I think that's where obviously AI builds the code, but the human think about
The whole
how,
system.
yeah, like which style are we building this? Yeah, that's day-to-day coding. But I think one thing we are kind of pioneering and trying, especially using all these from cursor skills, the class skills, is to, for example, on the in process, right? How do we streamline the priority and ticket creation? I think that's really fun. Most recent projects, and also on the PM side, like all these PRDs, ADRs, how do they kind of become a live document? Because every PRD you write is not necessarily implemented in the same way you wanted it. How do you reconcile that? How can you have this repo where the set of documentation reflects all the core essence of this repo? How can you create a background agent to do that? I think those are the kind of fun kind of hackathon projects we're playing with to optimize the software and development process.
We are not going to have enough time for us to like dive deeper into how you guys are doing this, but we'd love to, my co-founder and I would love to take you and your co-founder out for lunch, and we can maybe pull up our computers and kind of share notes on how you guys are doing the latter part, like how ticket management works, like your company, how you guys are managing all the documents that you generate, making sure that all of your plans are being met, etc. So not a lot of the external customer facing stuff, but internal company building stuff I'm really interested in.
Totally. I think this notion of now every engineer is an engineer manager, right? You manage like 5 agents.
Yeah.
And then now what does that mean to manage the engineering team? I think that's probably will be a topic for the next 3-5 years. And then on top of that, no engineer now is constrained to be a siloed front engineer or backend engineer or infra engineer or data scientist, right? Everyone can control from the customer request all the way touching every single elements of the system. Then what does that mean for an IC, right? And then I think everyone is talented, and then how do you combine kind of both as in a management skill set as well as their IC abilities? I think these are probably ongoing topic us as a society will be learning in the next couple of years.
Damn, looking forward to it. Very exciting times.
Yeah, totally. I think sometimes I talk to my co-founder, we're like, wow, it's just so excited to be human right now.
Yeah,
I
get goosebumps constantly all the time. The other day, I listened to a podcast. I can't remember exactly. Insight Ventures went on Tony VC. I don't know if you listened to it. The way that he described AI was like, tsunami hitting land and you better not be on the beach. And he gave me anxiety, right? So I called Maurice and I was like, what the hell? Is our company even necessary? Like, why can't anyone go on ChatGPT and just type in what they want and get their services? It's a little scary, I want to say, but definitely exciting as well.
I think, again, there's so much to chat. I think really what is the future? I think being SF, there's an advantage of being hands-on. I think every single conversation you have probably is at the cutting edge of a human species. But the question is, how do we spread out this knowledge and best practice to this 6 billion people or 7 billion people around the world? We all know the adoption rate is slow. So like, how can you penetrate, right? So I don't think, obviously, having anxiety is always good. That pushes you to learn more. But also, I don't think it's really necessary because the market is huge and the potential is huge. How can you elevate the whole human race to get them closer to what you are thinking, what you are doing? As you see that gap is there, I think there's opportunity.
Awesome. I think this is a great place to end this podcast. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Awesome.